Hello, planet Earth. This is Hog Got Two Feathers, and it is a Monday evening here in South Georgia. And I thought it'd be an interesting thing to check out and find out how the sun's going down here in this section of the world. And I was just watching a gentleman. Oh, this daggum thing. I was just watching a gentleman um, from Australia. And I'm not sure where he was from, but he was showing the sunset um, in Perth in Western Australia. And I thought it was just really cool. And what he was showing was some anomalies. And I've been noticing anomalies down here in South Georgia for a while. And of course, everybody just thinks I'm a nutcase, and that's pretty much true. However, when you live in a place for 35 years and you notice things, like, for example, where the sun goes down at certain times of the year, it's it's a little amazing when you walk outside and for example, I'm standing here looking outside, and I'm gonna turn this around now. Where I'm facing south, okay, so the camera is backwards, so this way due west, or pretty much. Now the sun should be setting in west southwest, meaning that it's more west than it is south. Okay. However, the sun is setting south southwest. Nope, 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 nope. Here, so now there. So which tree is which? All right, that's my oak tree. Okay, this oak tree here is like, you stand in the yard, and that's west from where I'm standing. Okay, so this is almost due west where I'm showing, and so this is going toward the south. Now the sun should be, see tree right, that tree right there. The sun should be between those two trees right now. All right, but the sun went down back over here. All right, that's way off from where it should be. So this is due west. And this time of the year, because we're going, I guess around December 22nd or so, is when it's the longest night or something. Anyway, it's when we're the furthest away from the sun, and also the sun is the lowest in the sky. Well, but this is not even the 1st of December yet, and the sun's setting over here. No, it should still be somewhere in between these trees right here, not over here. And it's been setting in this direction over here. Now, why do I bring this up? Was that gentleman down in Australia, he's noting that when the sun goes down, that it doesn't really go down. It stays lit for well over an hour after the sun goes down. In fact, in a couple of the locations there along the ocean that he was showing, some of the webcams there around Perth, Australia, it was light almost till 9. Oh, wait a minute, 7. Yeah, okay. It was, their sundown there is 7 o'clock, and it's their summertime. So at 7 o'clock, the sun goes down. It was still light at 8:30. Yeah, that's kind of odd, right? Hour and a half after sundown. That's some good honking right there. Now, something else. Now, my neighbor over here, you can't really see it, and I got to stay within Wi-Fi range. Dang, I'm getting a good signal. Good. But over here on the other side of my property line, it's a really nice sized pond this guy dug over the years. And every year about this particular time, the honkers come in. And they might just say overnight or so, but they come honking in, and man, they'll be circling overhead and come in and fly over here into this pond. Now, last year it was sporadic. This year it's non-existent. Now, you heard that honking, I think, because it's pretty loud to me. And that honking is the geese are supposed to be flying south. Now, we know it's cold up north, and it's pushing the birds south. However, we're not getting any. And the ones that are, they're flying. This is so weird. They're flying like back and forth and this away, and where they used to come in and no number less than 5. I mean, the geese would come in groups of no less than 5. They're not coming in. You 2 or 3 geese, honk, 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 and it's like, well, wait a minute. Where are the rest of the geese? Now, south of me, a little bit to the, let's see, from my location, almost due south, is the St. Mark's Wildlife Preserve there in Florida. Huge area, huge wetland area there along the I'll show you the sunset, whatever it looked like from here. Wi-Fi signal, see how far away I can get. Man, that's a good ways. It's been off and off cloudy today. The change. Anyway, talking about St. Mark's. Well, St. Mark's, usually the birds start coming in about this time and flying through, and there'll be different birds, robins and sparrows and just all kinds. And I'm here to tell you, I ain't seen no birds come in. I haven't seen any birds come flying in that have anything to do with winter coming. Now, I have noticed the last couple of years depopulation of birds. Quite frankly, it's been rather alarming. And it's just one of them things that you hope is cyclical, you know? All right, the cycle is, the cycle does. The only thing that has been consistent, which is good, are the bat population. And actually, it's down. But the reason I say that is because they're just overhead. He might fly into view. Show you a little bit of the sky. Sometimes if you stand out here, the bugs like to come over your head, and then the bats will dive over the top of your head. Now, what I mean by, I don't know if that's going to pick up. This bit of cloudiness right in here, it's just hot. Like they're not clouds. It's hard for me to explain. It's like have no depth. They don't look thick. You know, I'm 6 watching cloud year, and these clouds, and they've appeared a couple of other times. I didn't know they was going to be out here today. But those clouds, let's see, where is that? Them clouds right there. To me, because there's no thickness to them. They're just barely there. It's like they're there just for me to see, but there's no thickness. Because clouds should be water vapor, you know, and they should have mass. Okay. I'm business shows and special events and things like that nature, and fog machines and stuff like my body just it's clouds up there that I'm talking about. I got some video that I was out here just goofing around, and I was had the camera on, and goodness gracious me, and then while I was real course of 10 years, and I'm like going, it didn't move its location. It didn't move south. It appeared in the distance, and there was another, and it wavered a little bit from the sky. So with me looking the way I am, that's pretty much north. All right, and so they'd come a little bit this way, and then a little bit back down, and then a little over. Let's see, over to the where these wires are, these high tension wires. They were just, but they never moved from my location more than 10 or 15 degrees from where I was looking. So they didn't really move. They disappeared and disappeared. Now I'm gonna find that video. It's stuck in I found some that I didn't know I had lost, but it's just odd, these clouds and things that are what's going on today. Now, to my 10 cents worth on what the gentleman was speaking about on that video I watched on YouTube from Australia, and it was posted today, is that I've been noticing, and in the house I've got a thing I'm trying to work out where I try to mark where, like at 11 o'clock every morning, where's the sun coming in my window, and my windows are south facing. So where's the sun today at 11 o'clock? Draw a line. Well, in the course of a couple of days, I'm talking about it can be 11 o'clock at this line today, and tomorrow it'll be 11 o'clock 15 or 20 minutes early, or it'll be 11 o'clock 15 or 20 minutes late. I have seen it start off at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is about the best time I can get a good, clear, definitive line right now because of the trees and everything here that are blocking the sun from my house. They're losing leaves quick, so I'm able to get a little bit earlier start on that. But with a little bit of haze, I don't get a clear line. So, and I don't want to fudge my numbers, if you know what I mean. It's got to be a good, clear, honest sunshine shadow line for me to draw it, right? Well, this thing fluctuates all over the place. In the same day, at 10 o'clock one morning, it was like a half hour late. But by 2 o'clock that afternoon, it had picked up, it had gained 2 o'clock position. It was actually 2:15, so which means that it had actually gone, yeah, at the 2 o'clock position, the clock said 2:15. So it had actually gained almost an hour and a half, 6 hours. 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 hours. So in the course of 5 hours, the sun sped up and caught up with itself from the lines on my windowsill. So then I had too many lines on the windowsill, so now I've got some piece of whiteboard, and I've cut it off and I have lines on, and I've got the date marked. See, there's just one or two honkers. They're lost. It's like they're calling for their brothers and sisters, and they know there's no other homes. I see. I'm a guess. I don't know if that's Venus or not. That's way too high in the sky. But there's a planet over yonder. Now, see, that was the other thing I wanted to point out. We have tilted. From my position here, let's see. Can you see where off in the distance? Okay. Off it's that tree there. Okay. And those, that tree line there, that's a, so it keeps me, all right, well, those trees are, scout thing, I use this, like, okay, this is so much degrees, blah, blah, blah. And I go 1, 2, and I count up the sky, right? Well, the North Star has always been just because we're so far south in the latitude, being almost the Florida line. Lately, I can see it's way up, way at like a 45-degree angle, and I can't do anything with the stars because I don't have a camera that'll show it. Now I'm going to try to see if I can see what planet this is. I'm trying to keep the signal. All right, this tree right there, there's a planet right there. That planet shouldn't be there because that's south. Okay, way the planets were all supposed to be on a looking at it from up spinning. Or if you think about the rings of Saturn, the rings go around and that's an ecliptic with those rings, okay? And so our planets with the sun, we all fall within the ecliptic. All right, well, I don't know if you can see it. Put my finger right up there. Actually, it should be over here. That pine tree right there this is where the power lines go through this space right here. And so the planet should be, this thing's backwards. It's like looking in a mirror. The planet should be right here. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not. Yeah. All right. There's a notch in the tree. Let's see. There's a notch in the tree right in there. And that's where the planet should be. The planet should not be there. All right. The planet should be over the sky and see by that pine tree. By the pine tree there. That's where the planet is. It used to be side. Again, here are your markers. Big the planets always move between these two trees. All right. In the summertime, it'll be closer to the oak tree. In the wintertime, it's closer to the pine trees. It's always in this space right here. Where's that planet? Way the heck over here. Here. See? On the other side of this tree, planet there. It should be somewhere in this area and between those two trees on my property. Always. Always. So this tells me that the guy down in Australia who was having troubles looking at down in his because that and him planting the sun set head over here. And the wrong, not over there. What's deity sisters and Orion behind it. Finger over there. If it's Venus, it's way in the sky. Oh, had a hiccup. Okay, well, we back. I'm fixing to head into the house. I'm gonna get the location of that planet. Yeah, now some of you might ask, what are you walking around the yard for with your laptop? Why don't you get yourself yes. Why don't you get yourself a camera? Well, I do have cameras, and I even went so far as to get a new. There's the planet right in there. Okay, see that bright spot? It shouldn't be there. That's in the south. I'm looking almost due south. There shouldn't be no planets there. It's in the wrong spot, y'all. Oh, this stupid app thing. If I can't get it in the control room, then why do you keep trying to load it? Blah, blah, blah. All right. All you can see is my. But anyway, I think that pretty much gives you an idea of my little perspective down here in South Georgia. And I don't care what NASA's saying. I don't care what these other folks are trying to get you to believe. I'm here to tell you. Whoa. I'm here to tell you, folks, that the sun is not setting in the right spot. And we need to pay attention to what we observe, not to what other people tell us, especially when they lie to us. Now, I said in the description I was going to give some tips, some emergency prepping tips. And here they are. They're real simple. Now, it got too dark on me, and I got to yapping about where things were. So my apologies for not too many tips. Now, but here's a couple, real simple. Make sure you got a 5-gallon bucket. Make sure you have 2 if you can. Now you say, well, why is that, Mr. Dave? Hawkeye, why would you have a plastic bucket? It's because, number 1, you're going to have to collect water. Number 2, you're going to have some place to poop. Because your toilet, you don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to require way too much water for you to flush a commode. So what you need to do is you need to think of a 5-gallon bucket. Sawdust, yeah, most people don't have sawdust laying around, but a lot of people have kitty litter. So you need to think of your poo as a kitty litter box. And the 5-gallon bucket is just that. It's your kitty litter box. I'm serious. And you can put a lid back on it, you know, and you spend $5 if you got to buy one from Home Depot. All right. Now that's a serious one. You need one for water, for collecting it, carrying it, because if the electricity goes off and you might have a water source, but you might not be able to get it in your house or where you need it, like to wash dishes. Okay, what are you going to wash dishes in? Well, okay, you got your sink, but how are you going to get the water to your sink? 5-gallon bucket. Now, you should have 3. One for clean water, and one for dirty water, and one for the poo. Okay. Now you say, well, what do you want for dirty water for? Well, because sometimes you can water plants. See, there's a lot of stuff you can do with what you call gray water. And if for some reason you need to flush a commode, for example, you use your gray water. Always use your water at least once before you use it in the toilet. At least. That's a big tip. Now, next tip. All right, have yourself some plastic. The 6 mil thickness is best. 4 mil's okay. However, I have used and they're really cheap because you can buy them at the dollar store for $1, are the little painter's tarps, plastic tarps. Get a couple of them. And you say, why? If you're cold, you can wrap up in them. It'll help keep you warm. If it's raining or something's happened, you can keep out the rain and you can stay dry. Also, and I can't show you in this particular video, but you can use a piece of plastic. And what you do is you take a square piece of plastic. And for survival, if you're out in the woods or something, blah, 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 you dig a hole in the ground. All right. And if you have a cup, which hopefully you've got, put a cup in the bottom of this hole that you dig. Now, it doesn't have to be real deep. So then you put the plastic over the top of the hole. All right. So say it's a square of 1 foot and you got a hole that's, I don't know, 8-10 inches in diameter and at least a little deeper than what a normal coffee cup would be. Okay. So then what you do is you take and put your cup in the hole, in the center of the hole, put the plastic over it and put dirt around the plastic to make it sealed. Okay. And then you take a rock or a penny, not a small, I should say a pebble. Okay. Just enough to where that plastic has got a dip in it. Okay. Now what's going to happen, even during the night, it can make water, depending on how hot it is outside. There's moisture in Mother Earth. She gives us life. Oh, wonderful she is. But when the sun comes up and it starts heating up, the water in the ground will have a tendency to want to evaporate. Well, it's going to hit that plastic. And when it does, it's going to turn into, guess what? Little droplets of water. And if you got a cup underneath the center of that thing, you're going to get fresh distilled water. Now, it might not be a lot. That's not the point. If you got water to wash yourself and clean your dishes and do all the other stuff, then your drinking water, you can get by with a lot less water overall if you just have certain things for like this miniature little solar still. Now you can get a bigger piece of plastic. You can use different things. You can also take a pan or a bucket of gray water, cover it with plastic, put a thing in the middle with a cup floating in the middle, and it will collect fresh water, that dirty water. All you got to do is sit it in the sun and put this piece of plastic over it and let it drip inside the cup. Drinkable water. Why? Because all the heavy stuff is not going to evaporate. Only the water is going to evaporate. You might get some other volatiles, but they usually, if they evaporate, they will not condense on the plastic. They will simply evaporate. Okay, like anything that might be in, like the soap that you use. Yeah, whatever that planet is in the wrong spot. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Have yourself some plastic. The heavier the plastic, the better the plastic, and it will last longer. And especially if you're in a storm or something blows a hole in, maybe it blows a window out. There was a hurricane here in South Georgia, Kate, in November, many moons ago, 30-something years ago. And the tornado literally went over the house, over the top of the house. We could hear it, sucked the windows out of the house, out. But then after it sucked the windows out of the house, the wind came almost perpendicular to the house from the south. And you talk about, in like in a minute, the entire house was wet on the inside because it sucked the windows out. Anyway, so plastic took care of the situation. But you got to have plastic. It's good for gardening. In the wintertime, you can make hotbeds with them. And in the wintertime, you can grow vegetables. So it's like plastic, way up there on the list, okay? Now, some people are claiming, you need a firearm. My number 3, sure enough, got to have in a prepping situation is a really good machete. And I don't mean expensive one. I mean a good one. I mean, there's one that I've got, and I think I've showed it in another video, but I'm here to tell you, a good machete in any situation. Self-protection, you can hide behind a door, somebody come in and quack. They're not gonna hurt. These things will chop an arm off, or at least severely injure someone to the point where they're not going to try to shoot you. And if there's somebody behind them, they're going to have to get over the person that is bleeding when they have lost a limb or something, or are severely wounded from your machete. Now, it's close combat, but the thing is that I'm here to tell you, if you're in a close combat situation and you have practiced a little bit with that machete, you are going to protect yourself as much as possible. And the one that I have has a hook on the backside, so as you're swinging one way, you can come back the other way and catch them. Oh, it hurts. And that's just by accident. I know this stuff. However, I've just been cleaning my woods using one. And I'm telling you, a machete. Now, okay, so the lights go down, storms have come in, okay? And it is a life or death situation in that you got to chop some firewood to keep warm by. Well, an axe can be very heavy and this and that. And an axe is only good for being an axe. A machete is good for all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can cook on a machete if you have the blade wide enough. I mean, for real. It's for cutting up meat if you're a meat eater. Protection, hacking stuff up. And a file. Any prepper ever say that, you know what you should have in your little backpack is a 6-inch file. Yeah. A machinist file. They're about $3, $4, $5, maybe $10. I'd get a 6, nothing more than an 8-inch, because they fit really well. And you can sharpen an axe or any kind of blade with, including knife blades or any other kind of metal you might find if you're in an emergency situation, like our neighbor's shed got ripped up that time that tornado went through. Now they were home and everything, but if it was really, I need something, and the windows were blowed out or whatever, I could go up there to his house, and with a machete and some of that aluminum siding, I could have torn off pieces with a machete. So you can use it for all kinds. It's a very, very good tool. I was looking at the sun, the sky in the back. You can still see it. That's cool. All right, so then let's see. Buckets, 3, 2 at least. And 1 you can poo in and clean it and then get water, but I don't like to do that. 2 plastic buckets, 5-gallon sturdy ones, okay? 1 for clean water, 1 for your gray water, and 1 for the poo. And you don't use water, you use sand or kitty litter, dirt, something like that, okay? The next other thing was plastic. And look into solar stills. They're very, very easy to make. And you can take absolutely crap water. And if the sun's shining, even if the sun isn't shining, if there's enough of a temperature difference between the outside and the inside of your solar, where the water is stored, it will evaporate up onto the glass and slide down, and you will get clean water. Yep. Doesn't cost anything. And you can use pipes. You could go with 12-volt pumps, and I'll bet that's just not necessary. But look into solar water stills. Very easy to build. And like I was saying, dig a hole, plastic over the top. That is your simplest solar still, and that's in extreme emergencies. What was the other thing that machete and a file. I'm telling you, if I had plastic, and if my house got blown away, but I had some plastic stashed in my grab bag, I can make a shelter. Make a stick shelter, put the plastic over it, and then use sticks, branches, and other stuff to cover that, so that the plastic will be protected from anything that might fall. And you can climb right in your little old hut there and be safe, warm, dry, whatever you need. I'm telling you. And like I said, at the dollar store, you can get them plastic drop cloths. That's not what I recommend as the best, but for putting in a backpack. Oh, and you can use them for a ground cloth under your tent. I mean, plastic, I'm telling you. let's see. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else. I was trying to see if we could see the. I'm getting some kind of weird cloud thingy down there. Okay, I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to head over here towards the house a little bit. I want to see if. No, I don't. Nah, you can't see it. All right. I was just trying to. It's that planet has now got clouds going across it, so its brightness just went down a bunch. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hawkeye Two Feathers. That's my native name, and David Null is my Christian name, and I'm not ashamed of either one. I want you to say a prayer for the folks out there that are protecting the water and the land, our brothers and sisters, the Native Americans. And whether you like it or not, they are standing for all of us. Because white people don't get it. They don't. Of what's important about Mother Earth. And that Mother Earth is a living being, entity, whatever, however you want to say it. If you're like dogs or cats or both, or any kind of critter, Mother Earth is a critter. She's just a different kind. Yep. We need to protect her. We need to stand for those folks that are out there and not criticize them for what they're doing, because it was their land before the white man came and almost massacred every one of them, almost trashed all of their beliefs. And for those who think that Native Americans worship animals or the sun or the moon, please, no. A little bit of education here. They honor Mother Earth. They do not worship. They honor the sky. They honor the moon. They honor the sun. They honor the animals, the four-leggeds, the winged creatures. They do not worship them. If you see a Native American with a feather, if he's saying prayers, he's using the feathers to help him communicate with the good energy of those flying birds. He's not trying to worship them. Is he up into some of that bird energy? Bird energy is good. So is four-legged energy. You know, fish energy. I mean, it's energy we share. So they don't worship. They're using the feathers as like an antenna, maybe. Okay? Is a white man's explanation. The feathers are like antennas. They pick up cosmic vibrations. And in so many words, that's very true. I'm not far off of that mark. Now, with that said, our Native American friends need help. Those of you at Standing Rock, ahoy, my friends. I am here in South Georgia. And I sing the songs, and I dance the dance, and I dance them for Mother Earth. And I dance them for you, my brothers and sisters. I cannot be there personally, but I can pray from here. I can take the Mother Earth energy. And here in South Georgia, guess what they're doing here? They're cutting a pipeline through. And they're going to cut it right across the Ochlockonee River. I knew it was coming, but it's all across private land, so there ain't a thing you can do. You can stand up and protest all day long, but they're just going to lock you up around here. But how do I feel about the pipeline? I think Moultrie doesn't need it. South Georgia doesn't need a pipeline. It's bull. There in North Dakota, I feel for you, my brothers and sisters. We got a pipeline going in down here, and it's ridiculous. Crossed a huge amount of wetland area here in South Georgia that supplies northern Florida, Lake Talquin. Whoa, Tallahassee. Listen up, this pipeline could affect you. and all the fish and everything south of me. You don't think that ticks me off? Why do we need a pipeline to cut through here? Why does it have to go through one of the densest areas of the Ocklawaha River in the watershed? I'm talking, it's 3/4 of a mile through this wetland stuff. What are they going to do? They're going to drill under that? No, I don't think so. They're going to put it across the top, which makes the pipe even more vulnerable. So stand up. We don't need any more of these dead-gum pipelines. Is it putting people to work? Yeah, but it's putting the wrong people to work. And when they get done with the pipe, there is a lot of evidence that says pipelines don't usually last about 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years tops before there's a leak. When they finish this pipeline up here in Moultrie that cuts across the county and further south, etc., and across the Ocklawaha River, that in 10 years we could expect a break somewhere along the thing. That's fact. That's not fiction. And all you folks down there in Tallahassee, Florida, you're going to get the end of it, and it's all going to get stuck in Lake Talquin. Bye-bye, Lake Talquin. Bye-bye, all the wildlife south of here. I was already complaining about it because of all the chicken farms they put in and all the manure that's on the ground that's not being washed away or incorporated into the ground the way it should be, killing off the fish, all of the vast amounts of oak and hardwood trees that are dying. And just in these last 2 years, I've counted on my property at least 50 trees. And I'm talking good-sized trees. I'm not counting the ones that you could put 2 hands around easy. I'm talking about ones you can't put your arms around. Dead, died, gone forever. South Georgia. Sunset, it's done. The planet Venus, I'm guessing, still way up too high in the sky. I'll have to check the stellarium thing and find out where the planets are. It's still too far south, and it's not a star. It's too bright. It doesn't twinkle. And most of all, I know the Earth's wobbling, and because we don't know what's fixing to happen. We do know that Mother Earth's going to continue to burp for a while. She's going to be throwing off. And by the way, folks, the Earth is expanding. Okay? What's going on? Why is all this global warming and everything? The Earth is expanding, meaning it's getting bigger. Yep. So land masses are going to change. Stuff's going to happen. And can anybody prevent it? No. Can we fear it and be crazy? And no, but we can prepare. I mean, I've felt the ground tremble here and checked earthquake monitors around, and we've had some pretty serious shocks around here, but they don't report them because we're South Georgia. Earthquakes don't happen in South Georgia, right? Want to bet? Then why do they have a monitor over in Blakely if we don't have any? Oh, that's because Blakely's over by that nuclear power plant that's on the Apalachicola River that separates Alabama and Georgia, that I found out recently just installed. You're not going to believe this. Another nuclear. But they already had one, and because they were already cleared for one, they put in another unit beside the first one. Don't we have enough nuclear crap? But that's okay because it's all going to Florida from there anyway. It's going to end up in the national forest there in the panhandle of Florida. Who cares, right? Yeah, nobody cares. Nah, let's just put up another nuke plant. That plant's already been shown to be leaking. That's why they put in the newer one next to the older one. And what are they going to do with the older one? Store rods and stuff from the newer one? Electrical demand has gone down. People aren't doing as much as they used to. They're not staying up as late as they used to. The gas consumption is way down. I used to be able to, when it's been about 2 years ago now, I'd ride up and see my friend that's about 10 miles away, and I'm in the country. And even though it'd be 9 o'clock at night, I would see traffic. I have gone to her house, and it's only 6, 7 o'clock, and there's no traffic. I mean, no traffic. Going anywhere, no traffic. Not on the major highways, not on Highway 111, which is a major thoroughfare. No trucks going by, no other cars going by. I mean, nothing. I sat there one night for a solid hour going, there's no traffic. And there used to be all kinds of traffic. And it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, what time of the month it is. Gas consumption's way down. So why do we need pipelines? If we can't afford to go anywhere, and all of us are using less gasoline. I mean, I used to go somewhere every day, and now I only drive somewhere maybe 5 times a month. So I have cut my gas consumption by 3/4. More than that, actually. Drive time. I've cut my driving by 3/4, at least. Even in my conservative base. Why do we need more pipelines? Why do they have to cut one through up there in North Dakota? Because of greed. Because they think they want to shove it on us. Back in 2004-ish, there was a report, and it said that that Ford could take their current cars. That was in 2004. Like, I think it was their Escort or something. Anyway, small car. That for less than $500 change out, and that was like if you went into a shop and did it, that you could change your car to hydrogen. And that was because you needed a tank and the lining and everything. And then it was asked to one of the Ford scientists in the plant there where they do these things, 2004, that within 4 or 5 months, the Ford company could gear up to make hydrogen cars right off the assembly line. And it maybe would cost $300-400 at the end, and we could all burn hydrogen. But they don't want that. Hydrogen is water. Oh, yeah, we can't. Well, there's not enough water on the earth. We can't use it in our vehicles. That'd be just plumb terrible, wouldn't it? This is Hawkeye Two Feathers. I love you all. It's 6:30, and it is pitch black. Pitch black. I mean, that sun went down. There's nothing up there in the sky. 6:30 by the clock right there. 6:30 and pitch black. Wow. And this isn't even the end of December yet. I guess it's going to be pitch black by 5:30 in the next month, the way it's going, especially as far south as the sun is right now. Holy cramoles. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of all your fellow planet Earthlings. And there is some debate as whether or not we're Earthlings or not, but we do inhabit this planet right now. So be nice to one another. Quit calling each other names and stupid libtards and neo and Nazi. Quit with the name calling already. If two people of different parties, me being an ex-Democrat, I don't know, maybe I'm a Republican now, who knows? Both of you will agree that the U.S. is messed up. That's what you need to focus on. Not whether or not you're Democrat or Republican. It's the fact that this United States is messed up, and we all need to work together. Not against each other. With one another, y'all. If y'all quit calling each other names and fighting, yes, there's a lot of wrong, and we need to point it out. Dude, that's wrong. And instead of pitsy-patsying and dancing around it, those folks who have done these heinous crimes need to be arrested. Yes, sir. No special privileges for the elite. And if it is a special privilege, then you put a hood on them before you hang them. Public. Have a good evening. Be nice. Revenge is not the answer. Forgiveness is. This is David Null, a.k.a. Hawkeye Two Feathers, in South Georgia, 6:32 p.m. on a beautiful Monday evening. It's actually kind of warm out here, honestly. Don't know what the temp is, but it's warmer than it should be, but I'll take it. Okay. God bless you all. Pray for the folks that stand in rock and for everyone else who are trying to save Mother Earth. I love you. Spread the love. Spread the joy. Bye.